Hey, welcome back to the DVD Bunker. I'm Brian. That's Matt.
Hi, Brian.
And with us yet again, third time, Justin, my good buddy Justin Bird. Brought him back, do something a little different, not a comic book movie today.
No.
We're gonna look at Blues Brothers 2000.
Something we're equally geeky about.
Well, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Before we talk about Blues Brothers 2000, real quick, let's talk about the show. We watch movies here on my show, movies I own, movies I haven't watched in a long time, or that other people haven't seen, or maybe that we think are unfairly maligned. I don't know what category Blues Brothers 2000 is going to fall into.
I don't know if unfairly is. We'll see.
It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's talk a little bit though about original Blues Brothers. Just real quick. I don't want to spend too much time out on it, and I'm sure there'll be some comparisons as the episodes go.
We're gonna gush too much if we talk about that one.
Right, exactly. All-time classic. Me and Bird are big fans. This is a picture of us performing as the Blues Brothers at Justin's wedding. So that's where we're at, in case you needed a gauge on where we stand.
Well received, actually. Very well received.
Well received by a big room full of drunk people. But Matt watched this for the very first time yesterday. I made him do his homework. I made him watch the Blues Brothers. We all watched the original again to get refreshed, and it was Matt's first time. So tell us what you think.
I thought it was good. There was like some awesome stuff. I really was amazed by how many car crashes. I feel like they just gave these guys a ton of money. And they were like, I don't know what we're gonna do with all this money. I guess
there is a weird
shit.
amount. I don't know how much. Like, I guess I never thought about it, but it's like, what does car chases have to do with blues? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've always enjoyed that element of it. Right, I guess, they're criminals. They're on the run. They're on the run. But yeah, a lot of really good car chases for a movie that doesn't really seem to support that kind of thing.
No.
Like,
it's mostly about a musical about guys getting a band back together. And yeah, exactly.
Doing a charity show.
Yeah.
Like, I can see why they thought they needed to spice that up. Why not? But at the expense of making it maybe a little overly long. I think we talked about that too. And we noticed it on our rewatch also, which, by the way, rewatch that on a VHS. Justin's a VHS. I let Matt borrow my DVD.
I'm not on Twitter and I got VHS.
Yeah, that's right. So that's how we roll here. Look for spin-off show The VHS Bunker starring Justin coming soon.
I think I've got about 20 of them. So that's
a real small
short show.
It's barely just on over your shoulder, like they're just 2 or 3 rows. But yeah, I think we know. I think there's a couple things that are a little overly long, but overall, incredible musical performances. You guys got a favorite musical performance in the original Blues Brothers?
Matt, you go ahead.
The Church is my favorite.
James Brown
kicks it off. The song is so good, and the dancing. Oh my God! I tried. I wanted to recreate that scene for this show, but it just didn't happen. So
production value is kind of low.
It would have been like $15,000.
Well, and then you start doing James Brown, and then what do you do next? The Rocky IV entrance, right? Like, come on, we don't have the pyro budget for that.
If you had tried that, we would have had to plan something and go through that whole thing.
And just getting the time to watch Blues Brothers ahead of watching this took long enough. I mean, that's 2 hours I barely even had to give. So. What about you? Favorite?
I gotta say it's probably a tie between Everybody Needs Somebody and Shake Your Tail Feather. Ray Charles is so fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tail Feather is probably my all-time. But like, I love the show. The Blues Brothers put on.
The first show they put on. I mean, the John Lee Hooker thing. Aretha Franklin was killing it. I mean,
everybody's so good. And I have to say, Cab Calloway doing Minnie the Moocher is so good when he spins around and he's in the full white tux and everything. Yeah. That's great. That's great. So there's a reason that Blues Brothers is an all-timer.
Yeah.
But a question that I've heard asked many, many times is why Blues Brothers 2000? And the question, who was this movie for? And it's easy. There's 2 answers to that. First of all, it was for us. Literally 2 guys who were like 17 when this came out and obsessed with the Blues Brothers for some reason, like totally kind of randomly. And then this movie just came out to appease us, I guess.
Yeah, it was like, oh, hey, these 2 guys in Newark love this movie. They're the marketing demographic. We should set it up.
I feel like that's the same reason Detroit Rock City got made,
too. Actually, because we went to go see that in the theater, too.
In an empty theater, also.
I think we trust someone to this one, though.
And the other reason I think this movie got made is this is like nostalgia. This is a group of old men getting back together to relive their heyday. John Landis and Dan Aykroyd were like, remember when we made Blues Brothers? Wasn't that a blast? And I realized something when I was researching John Landis. He had not had a big hit in a long time by the time he did Blues Brothers 2000. I think the only way anybody was giving him any kind of budget and a studio picture at that point was if he was gonna bring back something that had some name value. I mean, before that, it was like Meet the Stupids with Tom Arnold in 1996.
He
directed that.
Landis.
Yeah, yeah. And then like before that, it was the third Beverly Hills Cop movie. You know,
that was bad.
The last, what I would say, what people consider classic that he directed was probably Coming to America in 1988.
Wow. That's going back a ways.
Right, it really is. Now, he's done some TV.
Considering the iconic guy that he is.
Yeah. Now, his run in the 80s is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Animal House, Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
You know, there's just some really great films in there. But yeah, he rode that wave a long way, because you think of John Landis as this kind of great director, but when you look back on it, that was true. He was a great director of the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, but he doesn't have that. He didn't like hold on as much. So I think that's kind of part of the reason this got made. So let's talk about who's in the movie. Obviously, Belushi couldn't make it back for this one. John Goodman picks up the role. Now, he had performed with Dan Aykroyd, they're friends, and he had done some stuff in the House of Blues, right?
Jim Belushi was like Z Blues, and then he was Mighty Mac Blues, and that was how they brought him in.
Right. Now, do we think this movie would have been any better received with Jim Belushi instead of John Goodman?
I don't.
Jim's not in this.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Only John Goodman. Okay.
And I would have said he's like, no, I'm sick of getting compared to my brother every
and
time
I think that's
anything.
the reason he's not in it. Is
they
would have.
I think he was filming that terrible TV show.
When I was gonna say, like, I could see them being like, he is gonna draw the wrong kind of attention. As soon as you put him in it, you immediately draw comparisons to the original that you don't want.
I think it was probably good that he was not
smart.
in it.
It's smart. I agree. I agree. And then Joe Morton rounds out the cast from T2, Miles Dyson from T2, and that's basically the musical. We're gonna have to get into the musical because I'm gonna need to see all the musicians that are in it. I know Aretha comes back. I know that the Blues Brothers band comes back.
James. They all come back.
But anyway, I know there's also a lot of more celebrity musical cameos in this one. Anything else we want to chat about Blues Brothers or 2000 before we get started?
No, let's do it.
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, so we're back. One thing this movie certainly has in common with its predecessor is the length.
It's very long.
A hefty 2-hour comedy here.
I like it.
I like my comedies a little tighter, a little closer to 90 minutes, but you know, it's all right. It's all right. It's fine. So movie starts out. Elwood gets out of jail from the crimes from the first movie, and so we assume he did about 15 years.
The lengthy crimes.
Oh yeah, and Joe Morton does give us a rundown later on, but I naturally assumed that some cops died in those pileups in the first movie.
No, they were on a mission from God.
They were on a mission from God. God saved the police, and that transfers through to this movie. Although I don't know how much God is involved. There's a lot of magic in this movie, and I mean we're gonna get into it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like they're all over the. Some of it is, but some of it's not.
It's all coming from the same source, funneling down.
But it's not. He's not on a mission from God. There's just
that's right. He never says it. Yeah, he
anyway,
never. I mean,
that's true.
So he gets out and he finds out that Jake has died. Now this is like. I like the idea of him standing out there waiting for Jake like the first movie, but this is kind of a bummer of a way to start your movie off, right? Like I understand the tribute nature of it, but I'm kind of like this depresses the shit out of me. Like right off the bat.
Warden tells him like, "Oh, Jake's dead," and his head just goes down.
Yeah,
and
it's a little sad. I think it's a little, you know, it's not the best way to start your movie.
No. It only gets better from there.
But don't worry. And then so Elwood goes to see the nun, and this is gonna start a theme of the Penguin. Yes, the Penguin. This is gonna start a theme here of rehashing scenes from the original Blues Brothers. There is a lot of that in this movie.
A lot.
Not always to its benefit. You know, they kind of go over that Cab Calloway, Curtis died also, so now Jake anchors, but he had an illegitimate son. And that's Joe Morton's character. And he's
commander of the Illinois State Police.
Who we also theorize, like, I feel like are only, like, that's the only reason they use that particular police force is the connection to the first movie, too, because the crimes they're investigating through this movie aren't really stuff state police would get involved with. There's arsons, there's, it's stuff Russian mob shit.
It would be local police, FBI.
Well, then the FBI do show up, but it's only because of the kidnapping.
Well, they show up with all kidnappings, so that's why. Hey, I'm in law enforcement, so I know that.
Hey, also, I guess we should talk about why there's a kidnapping. The Penguin just gives Elwood a kid.
The
He's like
mentor,
the
the mentor.
one leftover orphan from the orphanage. The orphanage closed, and there's like one leftover orphan that
she's
nobody
just
Well,
watching.
it's an
This
orphanage
is-
now. It's kind of like it's like a what is it? It's not an orphanage anymore, but it's kind of an orphanage. I don't know.
It's a dungeon
It's a dungeon.
for us one kid.
The
that-
first orphanage kind of looked like a dungeon.
That's
Actually,
true.
that was pretty.
He's living the bad parts of Harry Potter's life. That's what this kid's doing.
He's the future Voldemort.
But yeah, so for some reason she thinks it's a good idea for a known felon who literally just stepped out of prison that day to take a young boy under his wing. So that seems like a strong idea, right?
Yeah, I mean that's I mentor a lot of. No, I don't.
Well, you would be a decent mentor. You're a responsible adult. You're not a felon who just did 15 years.
For murdering police.
So he goes. There's definitely some police murder there. So they go to meet Joe Morton. He's at the state police. Of course, Elwood does not make a good first impression because the first thing he tells him is that he's the illegitimate son of Curtis.
Well, the
and
first
that,
thing
like,
he tells him is that he's Elwood Blues, and he looks him up on his computer, does
Right.
like an NCIC check, and he's like, "Oh, look at all this crap you did."
And they look up Jake
They
too, and
look
it's
up
just
Jake,
like
yeah.
I love that like they're talking, but it's just like going off. It's
That
like,
was
beep,
actually a
beep,
pretty
beep,
humorous
beep.
moment. That was pretty
And
good.
honestly,
Yeah,
there's
that was
another
fun.
really good joke here, maybe the best joke in the whole movie, where they ask where he has Elwood take off his hat and glasses,
That was a good
and when they
one.
cut back to Elwood with his glass, he's just like.
That's hilarious. That
It's like
was
the
good.
only time he's ever. I was like, okay, you got me with
That
that
was
one.
a
That's
good
a
one.
good joke.
That was a good one.
But yeah, then they tell Joe Moore. It's like when you meet somebody and introduce him, the first thing you tell him is, "Oh, by the way, your dad's not your dad. Your
And your-
real dad is a jazz musician who banged your mom out of wedlock."
And your mom's kind of a whore.
Yeah. I love the just matter-of-fact way that Elwood lays everything out.
Yeah.
He definitely has to take on the brains of the operation in this one. He's much more the strong silent type
I think
in the
Matt
original.
brought up the idea that in prison he
Must
like,
have been. He's not the same guy from the first movie
No,
at
no,
all.
I
Like,
agree.
he's a lot more comedic too, where he's like real, like you said, he's real dry. It's almost like there's two guys that are kind of dry with just crazy shit happening around him.
Right.
He's kind of the source of the
yeah,
funny
he's a lot
shit.
wackier in
But
this
it's-
one. I'll agree with that.
It is weird to me that his argument is like, here's a guy that's like my dad through our relationship, but since, and you know, that's why he's my dad. You've never heard of him
Or
met
met
him,
him.
but he's your biological dad, so now give me 500
We're
bucks.
brothers
Like,
and give me
it's the most
500 bucks.
backwards fucking
But he's-
argument.
it's just Elwood. He's just that's the way he is.
Yep.
He's, hey, we're family.
Any connection that he can forge with somebody in a way to get
Well,
money.
he's
out
just
of him,
struggling.
that's
He
what
lost
it
his
is.
brother.
just died, just
he
found
lost
out,
Curtis.
yeah.
He's
He's reaching
struggling.
out,
He's
he's reaching out.
Exactly. And of course, in reaching out, what's he gonna do? As always, he's gonna put the band back together,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like he always does. They steal $500 from Joe Moore. They ask him
The
nicely
kid
first.
Yeah, the kid.
The kid
yeah.
picks his pocket, but to be fair, they get him his wallet back, and Elwood leaves a note. It's like an IOU. He
Yeah.
takes responsibility.
Yeah, he does.
Now Joe Morton just puts an ABB out on him.
Like
and-
felonious assault, I think. It was like,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
dude? It's not felonious.
You could, and I don't understand why you cannot get the band back together without committing a string of crimes. Like, why?
Yeah.
When you say, if someone said to me, "You want to get the band back together?" It would be like, "Yeah, okay, a couple days, you're good to go."
Right, right,
Why
we'll
does
just
there
go-
have to be
Well,
robberies?
much like one of the things they're trying to do, they do the whole scene where they go to each band member and kind of reach
Yeah.
out to them. They go to get the drummer, which I can't.
Well, the drummer,
remember.
he goes to work for the drummer because the stripper picks him up at prison.
Right, that's
so,
the
yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah.
his. That's right. That's how it works. There's a stripper who picks him up from prison, and then he goes to work. And the guy who's the drummer owns a strip club now,
And the Russian.
and he's getting
yeah.
extorted by the Russians.
Yeah.
So this is where we get our kind of like bad guys. I don't think these guys are as interesting as the Illinois Nazis.
It was almost
They're
like
scarier though.
it was an Indiana Jones thing almost. You know how
Yeah.
Nazis were the villains, but then
Right.
they made the Russians the villain
Ah,
in the
that's
new
true.
one,
I
and it
see
just
what-
wasn't as good.
Yeah.
And that's,
I
you
think they
know,
were
it's-
scary, but yeah, they're not as interesting. They don't fit as well. Like they're
Yeah.
definitely kind of intimidating though. The Russians are more serious. They feel more serious.
Well, they
the-
shoot at
the-
everything.
Yeah,
Right,
the-
I don't-
the Illinois Nazis. Were
they
kind
never
of-
felt like a
yeah.
credible threat to me.
They were just kind of wannabes. you know,
Right, yeah,
so.
they were more fun. Their equivalent is Daryl Hammond and his white nationalist. group.
Yeah,
They never
yeah.
really name them, but they're just a bunch of guys wearing fatigues and standing around with Confederate flags.
Yeah.
So we get it.
They're a bunch of posers, basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So for some reason, even though Elwood's been in prison and probably been around actual hardcore criminals, he still thinks he can take care of this Russian situation by just like hog tying these guys and leaving them in the gutter, which, big surprise, escalates things.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't take kindly to that.
No, they don't.
No.
And right before the Russians show up and burn down the strip club and almost murder everybody, the bartender, who's
Mac
John
McTeer.
Goodman, Mac,
McTeer.
Mighty Mac,
Okay, he's the
gets to
bartender.
perform. He helps Elwood with the hog tying, and then in turn, Elwood lets him perform. Now, why is it that everybody seems so mad that he's gonna perform?
Willie was pissed.
Willie was pissed. The crowd didn't like it,
and it's like they didn't, because Willie, he's very sheepish and he was very
But as
shy.
soon as he breaks into it, they love it. It's like instantly. There's not even a warming up period of like, oh, I think this is good. It's like as soon as he starts singing, they're like, yay!
Oh wow, maybe they're just plotting the strippers.
Maybe that's true.
Although,
it does help to have half naked women dance around.
Half naked though in a strip club. What the hell is
true.
that?
Yeah, nobody ever fully goes. Yeah.
Well, we had to make a PG-13 movie where like 5 scenes happen in a strip club.
Yeah.
I guess
The only reason it's PG-13 is because they dropped shit a couple times.
Yeah.
So
So after they burn down the club, the Russians show up and burn down the club. So now there's no choice but to reform the band because their drummer's out of work. They're all out of work. Mac. So they show up. This is where they start doing the rest of the band, and they start out with Mac Guitar Murphy.
Yeah.
This is where they show up in the outfits first, and we have. Now we have Elwood and Mighty Mac and Buster, the little boy, all wearing the suits. Now, do we like that he explains the idea of the suit?
What does he say? I didn't even catch
he's
that.
trying to explain like it's a conformity thing. We're trying to intimidate them and all that
we're
stuff.
trying to
it's kind of setting up the joke,
these people only respond to intimidation. The idea is we present this united front and all that. And I don't know, I kind of like it better than just this weird implied thing that they all wear the same thing. I didn't think I needed him to spell it out for me. You know?
Well, it kind of set up the joke. It was like, you don't smile, and then he smiled when he
right,
mad. But yeah, it's that's a weak joke anyway. So yeah, that could have gotten.
And that's the thing is like. That's it. That does make sense for the old movie, but the Elwood in this movie isn't like that guy.
Right,
from the
exactly.
First movie. So it's like you're not even being that guy when you walk around. Like you're talking all intellectual and shit to people, and you're emoting and
hey, he got
like
his PhD in prison, man.
He definitely got a couple PhDs, I think. Some of the shit he says is pretty high level.
Mechanical engineering, probably. That's for sure.
It's true. Yeah, when we see some of the stuff he does to the car later, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Well, no, they go pick up Mac, and Aretha does Respect.
Right.
I still think Think is the better performance of the two.
Considering Respect is her iconic song, that's saying something too. Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem with this whole movie that we're gonna kind of like touch on is just that all the scenes remind you of the better version of that scene in the first movie. It's like every time, and I don't feel like. Aside from Respect, I don't feel like the music they chose is nearly as iconic. I feel like it's a lot more of like probably personal favorites of Dan Aykroyd. And like he put a lot of the stuff he loved, but it just doesn't quite have the same.
It's like when they go get Murph. I mean, the song that Eddie Floyd sings with Wilson Pickett.
Oh yeah.
Is great, and it's a great song. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a Shake Your Tail Feather.
The 6 3 4 5 7 8 9.
Yeah,
and I was gonna say that's.
And I've heard that in other iterations by that artist, and it's a great song. It's not.
But by comparison, I don't think
it's hard.
And that's the thing. This movie is constantly reminding you of it when you know what I mean. And then
I feel like it's trying to top it, and it's just not doing it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I agree. I wrote down 1 hour and 15 minutes left in the movie after that Pickett song. I was like, I looked at the clock. I was like, I can't believe how much we've gone through and how much is left to go.
So after a couple days, the nun calls in the FBI because they kidnapped the kid. So now we've got the Russians, the state police, and the FBI.
In Elwood's defense, she just said, "Hey, take this kid." She really didn't give him any guidelines.
No,
He's kind of an idiot,
dumb.
so he doesn't really know.
He thinks he's doing the kid a big favor. He's probably mentoring the kid just like Curtis mentored him.
Right, so he doesn't know.
That was in the 60s when people didn't care about the well-being of children at all.
Well, you could send him off with a white male, and it was perfectly fine. So, hey, hey there, fella. You're just fine there.
And then we have what I think is maybe the dumbest scene in the whole movie with the shaving cream escape thing.
That was pretty bad.
What is that? Like, why? What are you doing?
That's the police.
I'm wacky. I got shaving cream on my head. I'm spitting.
There could have been a better escape scene.
Anything.
It really,
anything
it would have been better.
I feel like, I don't know who wrote this. I feel like I've never seen someone less interested in writing the movie that they had to write, because it seems like this just happens all the time where they're like, why do they go this one? I don't know, shaving cream on their face.
There are at least 2 times where they escape the police by the car pulls up, doors open, everybody gets in, and they just drive away.
And there's
and that's it. And the cops are just like, chase them, and then the chase begins again.
Right.
You're
And at least in the
right.
first movie, when it's like, oh, I've never heard these guys sing, it was a little ludicrous, but it was almost like, it's John Candy, so it's like, oh well, yeah, we'll give him a pass on that one. This one, it just felt like the cops were so stupid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. And the whole thing with anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No. We can talk a little bit about the car since we talked about his engineering degree. So the car's magic. It can drive underwater.
Yeah, which is where we get to the white supremacists.
Right. They come up and they find the white supremacists, but it can literally drive.
I like that.
It can literally like drive on the bottom of a lake, but no water gets into it.
Mm-hmm. No less than 10 people have died trying to fucking reenact that scene by just driving their car. I saw no Blues Brothers. Let's do it.
And then, like, what's the deal with when they get to the county fair? Elwood's somehow like inside the car. They open.
He's in the cigarette holder.
They open the cigarette, and his chin comes out.
Ashtray. Yeah.
I was like, it was just, and it's just like some crappy '90s CGI too. And you're like we talked about the original. It's subtle. They're on a mission from God. The lights hit him, and the stuff you can kind of all play it off as just luck, on their part. The fact that they are always getting away.
Well, and it's kind of like what you guys. I'm sorry, but it's kind of like what you guys talk about frailty, where it cuts the line between whether or not is he actually seeing God or is it actually just luck. And with the original, I think you could play it out that way. With this one, it's just like straight up God's interfering, and there's no reason for God to interfere because they're not on a mission from God.
No, exactly. They never. And then like you've got the weird ghost horses riding in the sky.
Weird.
You've got Joe Morton at the tent revival, who, first of all, they give him a "can you see the light" moment. Is anything sacred? Can we leave anything out? I was like, oh, come on. And then they have it. And then again, like you said, they're trying to outdo themselves. Yeah. So they have to have him rise up in his cartoon clothes, change into the Blues Brothers outfit, and then he floats back down. And it's like, and then he's just brainwashed. He just like loves music so much, he's just talking about it all the time. And
nope.
Well, I think Matt even mentioned, what if he was possessed by Jake at that point? Like Jake entered his body.
He does the backflip.
He does the
I
backflip
just wanted
immediately.
the rest of the movie that actor to do a really bad like John
Belushi impression.
Just people be like, I can't believe you did that, man.
That actually would explain
Joe
a little
Morton
bit,
in Belushi face.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I thought they never paid off the thing about him playing an instrument.
They don't even say
they
it.
never, and then he just sings, and I'm like, everybody fucking sings.
Yes,
God,
you have 4 lead singers at the end of the movie.
When she asked him what instrument you play, the answer was just, no, I don't play anything. I mostly just sing. He is probably the best singer, though.
He is. He's the most traditional singer. He has the most traditional voice. But yeah, they play the fair, they play the tent revivals where we get if we're going to talk about them, the fair is the scene that is the parallel to the country bunker.
Yeah.
Country bunker.
The tent revival is the scene that brings back James Brown, is the parallel to the church scene.
It's James. Yeah.
So we got that all taken care of. Now Joe Morton's part of the band. He joins up with them.
Yeah.
There is an insane 30 car pileup where people again definitely died.
Yeah,
I wrote down definitely fatalities here.
Definitely people died.
And it was again trying to outdo the original, and it's like the original card scenes were great for that reason. It was like the French Connection.
They're over the
like
top,
that.
but they're still slightly realistic. This is like full-on cars just shooting off of ramps.
And it was entertaining, but it was still kind of like, it's still better than the original.
Right, exactly.
No car tried to stop. None of the
the last one stopped.
The very last one barely made it like sideways.
And still like slid in,
flipping and turning and shit.
Which, to your earlier point, after the Outlaws, that's who the band was that sang the original song. Anyway, they're on the stage. All the police are there waiting for him. Cut to inside the car. The car's even full. They're just in it.
Remember, he has the remote control.
He pulls it up, but they
remote controls the car.
Exactly.
The doors just open. They just get in.
He hits a
I don't
button,
even
the
know.
doors
They
open.
don't even show.
That's what I'm saying. He got a mechanical engineering degree.
Yes,
at
for
friggin'
remote control.
Juliet Prison.
But when they remote control the car up to where the stage is, they don't show them go from the stage into the car. They're just in the car all of a sudden, and then the car's driving away.
They somehow get the whole band squeezed into that one car. Now
I know,
it's like a
It's a huge band.
And the cops just can't get to it. They're like jumping, trying to hold on.
You got a 3-horn section, 2 guitarists, bass player, drummer. Jesus.
Yeah, keyboards.
And then you add friggin'
the kid, and John Goodman's taking up a seat and a half too. Don't forget about him.
Oh God. Anyway,
guys. No. So now we're on to the actual like kind of final
part of the movie?
plot of the movie, which was to get to the Battle of the Bands, which is down in Louisiana, held by this voodoo queen priestess played by Erykah Badu.
I don't even remember the name of the actual priestess. What was her name?
I don't remember either.
Queen Musette.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Queen
Yes.
Good, nice pull. Nice pull.
Thanks.
So this is supposed to be an audition, right? To see if they're good enough to be in the Battle of the Bands.
Right.
But then she like hypnotizes them with her voodoo magic and makes them do what she wants.
Right.
And then gives them the job. So what was the point of the damn audition anyway? I mean, I guess the band played technically.
You got to see Paul Schaefer play keyboards for the band, and considering he's an original member of the Blues Brothers band, that was kind of cool.
That's
but
cool.
Yeah, it was.
As far as I'm concerned, they waste my time with yet another underwhelming song. I'm not into this song at all.
Funky
Nessa. I'm not into it. I'm
not really Caribbean either. They have like a little maraca thing.
Right, they do a bit about the
bongos.
Caribbean.
Yeah,
and then it's not really like you should have
really.
played some Tallyman music, Tally Me Banana. You know what I mean?
I like the bit with Elwood calling her out like we do occasionally a polka, stuff like that. That was a good.
That's a funny line.
Yeah.
Agreed. I agree with that.
But yeah, the whole scene was just off. It was, and maybe that's why they don't do Caribbean music.
Maybe. All right, so they whatever. I guess they get to be in the whatevs.
That should be the tagline.
Blues Brothers 2000. Whatever.
But whatever.
So Justin's joking.
Whatever.
Don't worry, we'll go on without you. You're fine. So they're in the band they're competing with. This is gonna be our character corner, right? The Louisiana Gator Boys.
Oh my God, yes.
This is like they literally. I feel like this is the reason the movie was made because John Landis knew all these musicians, or Dan Aykroyd, or like these people had played at the House of Blues.
Aykroyd's actually a big blues guy.
Well, yeah,
so
and
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like in the interim between the movies, the House of Blues had opened, and I bet all these guys played at one time or another because that was a big thing in the '90s, playing the
absolutely
all those. That was like the Planet Hollywood of blues music, basically.
Mm-hmm. Except for they're still open.
Fair enough.
This movie was supposed to save the House of Blues, like it was supposed to save the orphanage, but
I was gonna say the House of Blues is still open.
Yeah, the House of Blues is still open.
They're still around.
Planet Hollywood. That's the one. Good call.
So I'll name off as many as I can that I wrote down quickly. Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Isaac Hayes, Clarence Clemens, Bo Diddley, Dr. John, Lou Rawls, Steve Winwood, Jimmy Vaughn. And now there's some other ones too, but there's one that I want to call out for not belonging, and that's Travis Tritt. Motherfucking Travis Tritt?
You're a country singer.
Country singer, and not even like if you could have had like somebody even more iconic than that. There's got to be somebody who would have been better for this group, who's more kind of a like cross-referential rock blues country guy.
He was just happy to be there. He was just happy to be there.
His jacket made me happy that he was there. But aside from that, I'm calling you out, Travis Tritt. You were out of your league, man. You were way out of your league.
Killer fringe, a lot of turquoise on that bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real nice.
It was looking pretty tight.
The band, though, I
consider the Blues Brothers band themselves to be a fairly iconic blues band.
Yeah. They are. If you think about who they played with,
right, and like they're kind of a like they're set musicians, but they're like some of the best set musicians ever. So I liked, and then you get your big kind of collaboration. The Blues Brothers band plays with the Louisiana Gator Boys, and that's kind of a finale. And that's one thing I will say I like that this movie did. They ended up the big musical number.
Yeah,
I was thinking that last night. I was like, man, the end of this movie is the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on for like 10 minutes to deliver the money to Steven Spielberg, and that's all funny and stuff, and it's like a good bit, but it goes on too long.
But the Jailhouse Rock thing, it does feel a little underwhelming.
Right, exactly. Like the big show should have been your finale, and then
except for Joe Walsh does get up and dance on the table. But that was pretty cool.
Life's been good to him. But and then like the chase, they do like end on an implied chase. Him and Buster, Elwood and Buster are on the run from the state police or whoever is chasing them at this point.
And spoiler alert, the Louisiana Gator Boys do win the Battle of the Bands.
That's true, they do. As well
rightfully
they should.
So.
Rightfully
they should.
So.
Oh God, yes.
Rightfully so.
Much better.
Two of the greatest blues guitarists ever to have lived. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And the kid Buster can dance Buster can play harmonica. He's not that. He's
He
not
actually
a
didn't
great
play the
singer.
harmonica.
Right. That
What
was
does
one
he
thing.
play? Operetta?
He
Whatever.
didn't play it. John Popper played the harmonica
did the
for him.
harmonica part for
Which
it.
is,
he
which
wasn't
is
really
my
playing it.
which is my biggest beef with that whole thing, because everybody else does everything that they're
Their
supposed
own
to
way?
do, but yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, his
actually-
character can play, but the character
Right.
can't really sing that well.
And I wrote that
I
down.
mean,
I even underlined it. The kid sings. That's a negative for me. That's a big time
Yeah.
negative
I
at
think
the
they
end.
finished
It
with
wasn't
the
great.
kid singing.
Yeah, the last two numbers, the kid gets to sing with the Louisiana Gator Boys. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's straight up fucked up, right
He's a
there.
good dancer, though.
He's a good dancer. He can move.
As far as character corner, we talked about the Louisiana Gator Boys. Nia Peoples.
Nia
Peoples.
Peoples,
I mean, she should be shouted out. She's kind of like Joe Morgan's second in command. Terrible police officer, just awful. at her
Oh, the
job.
worst.
really
But that's
worst.
not her fault.
But that is a tribute to the original movie where all the cops are terrible in that too.
Yeah,
So you know
true
it's
that.
fair. I'll let it ride. But aside from that, any notable like cameos that you guys can think of? Yeah, Daryl Hammond
yeah.
is
Frank Oz pops up as the warden.
comes back,
comes
returns
back because he was the
sure.
corrections officer. in
I
the
almost
first one.
don't count it as a cameo because almost everybody who's alive who was in Blues Brothers comes back
Yeah,
and is
yeah,
in this
everybody
movie.
They actually even call out the people who had passed away in the first one.
Right, which is nice,
Yeah.
which they should do. And that's obviously a big focal point in the first
Obviously, there've been a
15
lot more
minutes.
since then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. It's true. All right, so let's not waste any time. We got lots to say, I'm sure. Let's get into Goodbye versus Goodbye here. Matt, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one.
I mean, really, the last 20 minutes of this movie, the last like maybe 30 minutes is fucking awesome. If I don't know why there's any other part of this movie, it should be 10 minutes. The kid should be Justin Timberlake in 1999, who can sing and fucking dance. You take 10 minutes to get the band back together and just do an hour and a half of those guys playing together with the Blues
Yeah.
Brothers and just have it be that. Like it's, I mean, it obviously take a lot from The Last Waltz and in this movie, and they have some of the same people for The Last Waltz. I felt like they could have just redone that. It would have been awesome with the Blues Brothers. For me, that's what I thought of the whole time when I watched it. The last 20 minutes didn't save it. No, thank you.
Can't
No,
get
thank
over
you.
the hill.
Watch the last watch. Stop making sense. That was the last 20 minutes of this movie. Fast forward to that, I guess it's
Sure,
pretty awesome.
You can watch the musical
Yeah.
performances.
It's
at the end,
amazing,
for
really.
sure.
At the end, the last part of this movie is
Watching
great.
that band together is
Yeah.
great.
But it
It's like,
bums
it's an
me out
experience.
because I'm like, why didn't we just have an hour and a half of this? Why didn't we give Dr. John
How about
his
a
own
concert
song and Eric Clapton his
photo?
own
A
song?
concert video.
And everybody
of
gets
this.
their own song
Yeah.
and put a wreath up there too. Who cares about all the crap where you go to the car dealership? Just get the band together in 5 minutes. Watch them play.
I can understand that.
All right, that's me. But the car, and then just intercut the cars crashing. We don't. Who cares? It barely makes sense when it's in the
It's true.
plot.
It's true.
All right, sorry. So no for me.
How about you,
It was
Justin?
a goodbye.
That's a
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Oh, wow,
Adios.
that's a rare one for you.
Very
Um,
rare.
Justin, yeah, I mean, Matt almost always likes that.
I'm gonna I gotta call back to the last time I was here when Matt brought up the fact that cocaine was in rampant use on the use of the Punisher. If you read up on what happened on the originals of the Blues Brothers, drugs were rampant. I mean, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi and Carrie Fisher were dancing it up all night at friggin' bars and stuff. And I think, as much as I hate to say this as a proponent against drugs, I think that was missing.
that
from this.
energy's not there, right?
It's just
Yeah.
it's almost like they're trying to make it better, but they don't have that kind of X factor that's not there. However, on the flip side of that one, I will say that the musical performances are fantastic. So I will say it's tough. It's a tough call for me, but I'm going to say goodbye to the DVD, but goodbye for the soundtrack purchase if you buy that one.
There you
So
go.
that's
All
that's
right,
what
all
I'm
right.
going to say.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
this
right.
DVD, this may have come with a soundtrack. I don't even
Okay, well
remember.
there you go.
Who
Then
knows?
then
Who
keep
knows?
this for the soundtrack.
That's how you know you're for a
But-
great movie
but-
when you buy the soundtrack and the movie just comes with it. but please watch
but as
it.
Matt said, the last act of this, where the Gator Boys show up and then they're jamming with the Blues Brothers, that could just be 2 hours of that, just watching them play
Watch a
blues
concert video of that
standards.
shit.
and soul music and all
see.
sorts of stuff, and it'd be fantastic. But otherwise, yeah.
All right, so I think you're right about the music, except that some of the songs don't hold up. Like some of them are great,
Yeah.
but some of them
Well, you
you
could-
gotta
you
Outlaws
hit the
cover's
skip button
bad.
for
It's
those,
just
yeah.
bad.
yeah, that's not great. I don't think the 634-578-789 is awesome. Is very good. I don't love the Erykah Badu number, the audition number. So that hurts it a little
Mhm.
bit. They they waste too much time redoing the things from the Blues Brothers. That's the real problem. And then on top of that, they are like overly self-indulgent with like what they want the new character to be, and like how he wants to, like, Dan Aykroyd brought too much old man Dan Aykroyd to the writing of this, and you know what I mean? And I feel like they're just too nostalgic, and there could have been a cool Blues Brothers movie where you like get the band back together and do it for a purpose, but it's too much rehash. And as much as I want to like it and just have more Blues Brothers, and I like John Goodman, and I like Dan Aykroyd, and I like the music, and I like the performers, like the
there's nothing wrong with anybody who's in it.
All I think about is the original Blues Brothers. Like there's no reason to watch this over the Blues Brothers ever, or if you just finish the original, to not just rewatch it instead of watching this. There's just nothing to bring you to it except the last 20 minutes. The performance of the Louisiana Gator Boys, and then the follow-up where they all play with the Blues Brothers band. You could even skip the number with the Blues Brothers in the ending, because it's, again, doesn't hold up.
I feel like it's a poor man's Everybody Needs Somebody.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. They needed a really strong... Where was Soul Man? You know what I mean?
Throw
like
that in there. And if you're worried about rehashing something, then why did you throw everything in? For God's sake, you brought Bob back.
You didn't rehash any of the musical numbers, but yet you rehashed every other beat of the whole
all
entire
the jokes,
movie.
all the gags,
all the gags, even the sequence of the Steve Lawrence cameo is in the same spot. You know what I mean? Like just everything is
You're
just...
absolutely right. You know, this movie is like going to a Journey concert, and Journey doesn't play any of their songs that you remember. They're playing like new shit. You're like, what is this, Journey? Come on.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this movie is.
Yeah, I agree. So unfortunately, I don't think I can get it over the hump either. Now, I'm not going to boot it, like I would a normal Goodbye, because I do have a place in my heart for just the Blues Brothers in general, and I would feel bad about that. But as far as the ranking for the show goes, I have to give it a Goodbye. That's tough.
Adios.
We always have this one. Don't worry about that. Always have it. This was actually I said a wedding. I didn't know. You didn't know it was our wedding.
We weren't married.
Well, we're married to each other.
20 years from now.
That's awesome that you guys are married and Justin's only on the show.
3 times. Like, no.
Go back to bed.
Is my laundry finished? All right, so hey, thank you for coming back.
Hey,
man.
Thanks for having me.
We have been enjoying the Blues Brothers together for 20 years, more so maybe. And
oh my God,
and so this has been a great opportunity to not only talk about how much we love the original, but to take a look back on something we thought we wanted. At one time.
And I remember really liking this when it came out, and
it hurts a little.
It hurt,
right?
yeah.
It hurts a little.
It kills my soul.
We all got burned back in the late 90s, man. I remember a little movie called Phantom Menace that I used to love.
Oh, that was great. I haven't seen it since it came out, but it was great.
But as I remember, totally perfect, right?
Fucking pod racing, man. It was fucking awesome.
Jar Jar Binks, maybe the wave of the future.
Comic genius.
So, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the TUFF channel. Like this video, maybe leave us a little comment, have a little chat, or you can find us on Twitter, at least me and Matt, at Hercules,
at the Drunksman,
#DVD Bunker. You can talk about Blues Brothers or any other episodes that you've watched that we've done. And definitely thank you to Jeannine for our art, Austin for our banners, Ron for our music, the rest of the TUFF channel for sharing this dream with me. Watch BFF, watch OSP, watch Fan Friction, and come back and watch more of this show as well. Also,
bye guys.
See ya.